Hey everyone. So, this is a little bit of a different podcast than you're used from me. I would really love to talk today about my upcoming pilgrimage, my Wombs and Waters pilgrimage, and explain a little bit about how this is born, why I'm doing this, and why this is the only time that I'm offering it. So, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, let me introduce this beautiful pilgrimage that I am supposed to be hosting around the vernal equinox of 2025. So, a couple of years ago, I still lived in Malta. And many years ago, 2018, I had the call to go to Malta and Gozo for the very, very first time. And everything about that first trip to Malta was extremely magical. I'll spare you all of the details, but the two highlights were that I ended up assisting the home birth of the baby of the Airbnb hosts where I was staying. And secondly, I ended up visiting a non touristy temple that is commonly known as the Goddess Temple. And I had actually seen this temple in a vision years before. And it was so extremely special that within the 5 days that I was there, I heard this call like, you must move to Malta. And it was like, what? What? What do you mean? And this is like a voice that I heard saying that. And as weird as this may sound, I trusted this voice. So I came home. I told my stepsister, yo, I got this message that I need to like move to Malta. And she was like, dude, you've been there for 5 days. What the hell do you mean? And eventually, this voice was so strong that I had to listen to this. So, fast forward a little over a year later, I moved to Malta and I started building a life there. And in the time that I lived there, I had many, many, many more of these calls, specifically in this goddess temple that I visited, like the first time I was there, that I was supposed to host a retreat, a pilgrimage in Malta. And I was like, I don't know. Like, it's such a hustle to organize this. Do I want to take this on? How am I going to do this? And I just rejected it. I just ignored it. I was like, okay, no, I'm not listening. I'm not doing it. Um, until earlier this year. I mean, I was called to organize this pilgrimage like 3 times. And the third time, there was a little bit more of an opening, but I still wasn't confident to do it until I went on my own pilgrimage to France. And I met this absolutely incredible woman that I had an immediate connection with. Her name is Elizabeth. And when I asked her, where are you from? Because she has quite a special appearance. And I asked her, where are you from? And she answered me and she said, I'm from Sirius. Now, without like going all into the airy fairy aspects of this, Sirius is a star. And all the ancient temples in Malta and Gozo are supposedly directed at this star. So I have a very special connection with this star already, like apart from anything. But her saying that and her knowing the importance of this star, especially for ancient people in the more like spiritual realm, I was like, I want to know more about this woman. So I told her, like, are you aware that all sacred ancient temples in Malta are pointed towards the star Sirius? Like every time they built a new temple, they pointed it towards that star. She was like, oh, yeah, I'm aware. And then she said, I've always wanted to go to Malta, but it just never happened for me. And for me, this was a moment where all like puzzle pieces were like falling into place. And I can just feel it. You know, sometimes you just feel things, you know things. There is this inner feeling of inner knowing where you're just like, yes. this is it and I have to follow this. So almost like there and then, I said, okay, I'm supposed to organize this pilgrimage in Malta, but I don't want to do it on my own. And I feel that you're the right person. Do you want to come with me? Like this was all like within the first like 10 minutes of having like a proper conversation with this woman. And she said to me that she'd be honored. And the rest is history because from that moment onwards, everything for this pilgrimage went smooth. I knew exactly like which places to visit. I knew exactly which place we need to stay at. Like all the things just fell into place. And so here we are. I have just launched this beautiful, beautiful pilgrimage, and I am ready to take people on it. And I just want to be very, very clear again. Like, I've gotten the message. I still don't know why exactly, but I've gotten the message that this retreat should be happening on the vernal equinox of 2025. For people who don't know what the vernal equinox is, the vernal equinox is the equinox that happens in spring in the northern hemisphere. So that's the information I got. That's what I listened to. Those are the dates that I booked. And so we are ready. We are ready to call in 11 women on this pilgrimage. And I just cannot wait. And so this pilgrimage is called Wombs and Waters. And I want to explain to you a little bit more about why I want to say chose this title, but the title chose me. Like, I didn't choose this title. It just landed in my consciousness, and I felt this was a title I had to use. So, as you all know, I have worked with the womb and with cycles for a very, very long time. And the womb is sacred to me. And the womb is also a metaphor. The womb is a metaphor for the portal towards creation. It's a metaphor for the cauldron in which life is built, in which projects are built, where creativity feels safe enough to go into the process of creation. So the womb is just so sacred for me, and caves on earth have very often in ancient history been honored as the womb of the Great Mother. And I've always been fascinated by caves, and this fascination only grew when I lived on Malta because there's a million caves there, and it's so beautiful. And one of the things that was so special to me is going into an underwater cave, and it was quite scary, but it was also extremely beautiful. And I felt so safe and held in this water, protected by this cave. And I remember feeling like, wow, this must be a very similar feeling as to what it feels like in the womb. Because the experience of sound changes when there is a protected space like a cave and there's water. I don't know whether you've ever been in a cave with water, but the experience of sound and the experience of safety and the experience of being in your body shifts. I cannot, you just have to come so that you can feel it for yourself. Um, but yeah, this has been such a profound experience. And I have, in the past couple of years, last 5 years, I've been learning a lot about water, the meaning of water in different cultures, water in ritual, honoring sacred springs and spring water, learning about the waters in our bodies, like different types of waters, lymph fluid, blood, tears, sweat, the acknowledgement that we are water. And it just felt so right to combine these two things that I hold so sacred on my in and on my own body, and on the earth. And those two things are wombs and water. I hold them both so sacred. To me, they are the most alchemical, sacred things in my life. I live my life according to my womb. I pray with water. I honor water. I want to be close to water. And so, this is how this retreat name, this pilgrimage name, has been born. And as human beings, we evolved from the waters of the earth's oceans. The waters of the womb are our first landing place. We are born from waters of a body. Menstrual blood, the waters of our uterine lining, that's where we settled in after conception. Water gushes from the uterus during birth. We are born from the ocean of the womb of our mothers. And when we are moved, water flows from our bodies. Tears, sweat, amrita, sacred arousal. Water is home. And people across cultures, across traditions, way back in time, they understood this. They understood that water is home, water is life. Early civilizations embodied this wisdom. And there are numerous archaeological records that show that both water and building sacred sites close to bodies of water held great significance to our ancestors. And all I want is remember this. So I'm inviting people to travel with me to the ancient and sacred islands of Gozo and Malta to immerse ourselves in the ancient wisdom of both our wombs and our waters, as well as the womb caves and the womb sites and the waters of the islands. This is a journey of deep remembrance, of tending to our body temples and restoring what was lost and remembering the ancient wisdom of these sacred sites, of these ley lines, of the energies that pulse through these islands, because it's so magical. I cannot even begin to explain how magical it is. And so, how this week that we will be spending together will unfold is we'll be focusing on a couple of pillars. We'll be focusing on sacred sites where we'll go feel into temples, caves, ley lines, but also churches. We'll be focusing on sisterhood and really focusing on feeling that deep connection with people who are on the same path. We will be staying in a sanctuary where we will have the safety to do ceremony, to offer water and earth rituals, where we can be in circle, where we can be in prayer, in song. And for those who know me, know that somatics and the senses are so special to me and such a beautiful portal to access both spaces around us by opening up our bodies, but also accessing spaces within ourselves. So we'll be focusing on movement, on breath, on touch, and on sensory body work. I'm not going to reveal too much about this because it's just too sacred. And we will be experiencing all of these beautiful practices in a womb cave that is nestled under the house where we'll stay. That's one of the reasons why I chose this house. I've been visiting this house for years and it's so special. Like, it's as if you move into the womb of the Great Mother. So sacred, so beautiful. And so everything, as you can hear, everything in this pilgrimage is meticulously chosen. I have listened for years and combed out for years what we're supposed to be doing, where we're supposed to be going, how this retreat, this pilgrimage should look like, what the days should look like, which people should be involved, who is making the food, where you will be sleeping, where you will be staying, where on the island this has to be specifically. Like, I meticulously thought it all out, felt it all out. And so this is the culmination of a lot of the work that I've been doing for so many years. And I am calling in 11 women who are craving deep remembrance, deep womb healing, and homecoming. And I am calling in women who are ready to step into the almost like metaphysical mystery of the great mother that is waiting to be revealed to you. This is not for the faint-hearted. This is not just going to be like, oh, let's do like a chill beach retreat and chill on the beach. No, 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 no. No, this will be a sacred pilgrimage. And it's one of the most sacred, special things I've ever gotten to organize. And it's here, it's happening. It's a sacred pilgrimage to the ancient temples of the earth to restore and remember the inner sanctum of our own wombs. This is really for the strong souled women who walk the path of the goddess. The witches, the priestesses, the wise women. If this is any term like this that resonates with you, if you're listening in and you're like, that's me, I'm supposed to be there, come join me. Because this is the only time I'll be doing this. It was very clear that I'm supposed to be organizing this on the vernal equinox of 2025 specifically. So this is the only time. You can't say to me, oh, I'll come to the next one, because there won't be a next one. I'm not doing this a second time unless I hear another call, but I haven't heard it. So this will be the only time. This is your only chance to experience something like this. And I trust that if you're supposed to be there, you're going to apply. The only way to apply is click on the link below, go to my Instagram, send me a DM, and tell me that you want to join. That's the only way, because I'm not promoting this towards the bigger public. So this is your only, very only chance. All right. I hope this made it all clear. As soon as you hear the call, you'll get all information. You'll get access to the frequently asked questions. And as soon as you have applied and made your payment, you'll gain full access to our full schedule, because I'm very protective and respectful of the off-grid sacred sites we will visit, because some of them are not even in tourist guides. They're only known by locals. And I truly want to keep it that way, because I don't want anybody to just flock to Gozo Malta because Iris mentioned this cave. No, this is very sacred. This is very specific. So once you've applied and secured your spot, this is when the full schedule will be shared with you. And I cannot wait to meet you. I trust if you're supposed to be there, you're going to listen to that sacred yes. And I'm going to see you in Gozo and Malta next year on the vernal equinox of 2025. And I can't wait to see you there.